Hello, everyone. I'm Chessrook44, also known as Falai, and welcome to this Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity. Last episode, we finally spoke with the gods and traded words with them. Sure, we traded words with a couple of them already, but we have still traded words with most of them. With all of them, basically. Well, except a few. There were two who we didn't speak with. One being Wodica, and one being Whale. Whale, it kind of makes sense, because Whale is mysterious and doesn't really speak to anyone about anything, and we only briefly spoke with Whale for a minor quest. Wodica, the reason we're not speaking with Wodica is because, well, Wodica's kind of behind all this. Wodica has directed Theos in order to collect thousands of souls so that Theos can empower her so she can rule over everything. We have learned this from the other gods, and they all want us to do different things, because once we defeat Theos, we need to do something with the souls. Our choices are fourfold. Galawain, Abaddon, and Magrin want us to send the souls back into the Deerwood to strengthen all of its inhabitants. Hylia wants us to send the souls back into the bodies of those they were originally destined to. Bareth wants us to return the souls to the cycle so that they can be reborn into their next lives. And Rimergond, Andra, and Skane want us to completely destroy the souls and remove them from everything entirely. As you can imagine, a little bit of a tough choice. Now, removing the souls from the cycle entirely and destroying them. I'm not doing that. That is just way too cruel. And very depressing, so we're not going to do that. Strengthening all of the Deerwood is interesting, but I think I'm going to hold off on that. That doesn't seem the right choice. Which leads to the remaining two. Hylia, returning the souls to their bodies, and Bareth, returning the souls to the cycle. And that is actually kind of a tough choice. Return the souls to the Hollowborn, who are trapped, who are basically lost, and give them their lives back, although possibly wounded lives, or return the souls to the cycle and let them move on, and the Hollowborn will all die. It's a tough choice, and one I'm not sure which to do, because both seem right, in a way. Although, now that I think about it, if we send them back to all the bodies they were meant to go to, then eventually they will return to the cycle in time, just not immediately. The reason Bareth wants them to return to the cycle now instead of going back is because, theoretically, the bodies are tainted. Honestly, I think I'll go with Hylia. I don't like swearing myself to someone like this, but I feel like we should. Pray to Hylia. Do you return to swear your oath, Watcher? Do not underestimate my power. I am a mighty friend to those who are faithful. I swear to return the souls to the Hollowborn children of the Deerwood. And I shall remember. The dark wings snap shut, and the tiny sparrow flits to your shoulder. It tilts its head back and opens its beak, and the song that spills forth is like nothing you've ever heard. Melodies, at once mournful and beautiful, entrance you. The world becomes a place of pure color and sound. Each perfect moment follows the next like the lines of a poem or the bar of a song. Hylia's boon. You awaken as if from a dream, standing in Ter Evron. Hylia's song and the power of her blessing follows you still. Hylia's song, what does that give me? Hylia's boon. +1 perception and lore. Okay, that's not the worst. Perception is pretty good. Dang, I didn't realize my resolve was so strong. Pretty impressive, truth be told. Intelligence is still the lowest, but hey, I'll take the perception bonus. Alright. And it seems, Durance, you wish to speak with me.
What is it, Watcher?
Durance doesn't seem to recognize you for a second, then blinks and frowns. Does what we learned about Wodica trouble you?
It stinks of her. It is justice, but if her greater purpose was to think Margaret would fall prey to such deceit. And Aethys, Widewin had always claimed to be invading Deerwood to free it. What if it were true? What if he had come to stop Woodica's plot before it began? Surely Aethys earned his death at Godhammer Citadel, but not for those reasons. Not to keep him silent. If such a thing has brought about this chaos...
Durance tilts his head as if listening to an inner voice. Then he frowns, the frown deepening as he speaks.
Must we always be tools of gods? If Woodica and Margrin, if they are the cause of this, the Hollowborn, if the purges were never necessary, if Aethys was fighting back...
Aethys needed to be stopped, and so does Woedica.
I know, it had to be done.
Durance stiffens and takes in a long, slow breath, steadying himself. Would it have been better had you been spared this knowledge?
No, I am glad to have walked this far with you, seen this truth. Perhaps it was what I was meant to see, with a Watcher's eyes. All these dances of words and intrigues, machines of men, twisted, ripping the souls of children, and by the gods, the goddess of justice. If I could end her like Aethys, Margrin burned her once. One can do so again. Woodica, she must answer to her own justice.
Justice or revenge?
Anyone with a shred of spirit seeks both justice and punishment. It burns in the heart of anyone who lives. All seek it. If the world does not balance, we all drown in the oceans. And the gods would not care.
I mean, Andra.
Margrin, she must be redeemed. And punishing Woodica, that will serve.
Do we know that Margrin was not a willing accomplice?
Is this some final joke at my expense? To test my faith further? And why would you think that, Watcher?
Why would the goddess of war cloak her soldiers when they leave her seat at Ashfall?
If all you have are questions, then I have enough of those. She is a bitch of a goddess, to be sure. But even a whore only goes so far in crossing those she serves.
You said you left Ashfall without telling anyone of your departure.
You answer a question with a question. Then why did I feel her disappointment at Halgot? Why were we shamed?
Because I think she tried to kill you there.
Kill me? She is a goddess. I still drink from her burning breasts, Watcher. If she wished me dead, she could trace me to my source and kill me.
In the dream of the Godhammer, your spirit looked blurred, indistinct in the light, as if it had been sheared from you. Durance stares at you, his expression frozen, but he's silent, listening. When we petitioned her, she didn't recognize you. You know it. Durance turns from you for a moment. His face twists in thought, conflicting emotions running across his features. Finally, he turns to you, his face steady.
There's no proof, Watcher. I was a fool to think you could help me see any farther than I could.
If you don't trust me, then trust your staff. Admit that the other Godhammer builders are dead. Durance turns to the staff, and for a moment you see his eyes burning, taking in the edges of the wood, the symbols inlaid there. The 11 faded circles.
They died in the blast, yes. The other 11. I was the only one to walk away. I thought we had wronged our goddess. That this was my trial, and if I could prove myself worthy of her! I should have known better. There is only one God of redemption, and I saw him ended.
As he studies the staff, you feel a wave of heat, a terrible energy rolling forth from it in waves, so much so it feels as if the Godhammer itself is alive in his hands. And past it you hear a cry like a child being born, and your eyes feel the flash of white. Then 100 imagined shades of purple and white, streaming and circling into the howling of a storm, and beneath it the grinding of ancient machines of stone, rock, and metal, grinding and turning until all around you feels as if it's burning, sinking into the shadows of the earth, beneath the ground, the only place where a spirit might find refuge. When your vision clears, you see Durance, his hands clutching the staff, and his eyes are bright, burning red. Atop the staff, the flame burns cleanly, brightly. As his gaze burns, he rips his gaze away and howls, and bellowing a bellowing, horrid howl, like a wounded animal, and sweat pours down his brow. We can see that justice is served, to her and Wodika both.
To think I served her. I followed her. Now I shall serve no one. Wodika's lies must be answered. And now it seems I must take fire in war from a goddess's false claim as well. I still take from her strength as I did, for as long as it lasts. For I shall not cast her aside yet, until I have drained her dry and had my fill, just as she intended for me. For I have learned one of the lessons of the faithful. The faithful may wound a goddess greater than any enemy. A purification is coming, and this fire shall consume them both.
Let's continue on. I was able to get Durance to see that Magrin had conspired with Wodika in creating the Godhammer, and that her refusing to speak with him wasn't because he had wronged her, but rather was because she had intended him to die with the other Godhammer engineers in order to keep secret her direct involvement in Aethys' destruction. Though it appears this alliance between the goddesses was short-lived, it sheds new light on the Saints' War and the epidemic of hollow-born infants that followed. Durance, for his part, has renounced his goddess and sworn revenge. As a man who's killed one god already, it would seem that he might be one of the only people alive who can make good on such a threat. Alright then. All we have left is to head further down and deal with things. Mission complete. Alright.
Yeah?
Let us move on. Durance has lost his faith, although considering how he kept referring to Magrin as a whore, it's not the most surprising. So all we have to do now is head back to Burial Isle and go down.
No problem.
Oh. Stop
right there.
Oh. The Phantom Soldier...
You're in the wrong city, Inquisitor.
The Phantom Soldier raises his short sword to your chest.
Did you think you wouldn't be recognized here in your old home? I've seen your trials with my own eyes.
I have seen you light pyres with good people tied to them. People I'd known many a year. He seizes you by the throat and your airway tightens. Whether real or imagined, you cannot tell. They deserve your confession. He raises the point of his sword, holding it a hair's breadth from your eye.
Thuros, what are you doing?
Startled, the soldier releases you immediately and turns to face the speaker, a woman in a plain wool tunic, fully a head shorter than he, but somehow seeming to tower over him. You have seen this woman's face before, but from afar, bloodied and burned as she lay stretched across an iron wheel. At the moment, it is marked only with concern.
An assassin sent by the Inquisition, my lady, daring to approach our camp.
If she is so poor an assassin as to approach an armed guard in daylight, I should have little to fear. I would hear what this woman has to say. She stares him down until he can no longer face her. He turns away, sour-faced, and pretends to be suddenly distracted by something far off.
Surely this is some trick of my mind. I did not expect to see you again.
Grand Inquisitor Theos Ix Arcanon dispatched me here to spy on you. Are things as desperate as that over there? I'd never have known. I hope your next assignment is more stimulating. Listening to my lectures is dull work for a spy. It's good to have an old friend back all the same. It's lonelier than you might expect, changing your friends for followers. Whatever your reasons, I've missed you all these years. Having you here now, at a time when I'm surrounded by strangers, it's a wonderful gift. I would like for you to...
I would like for you to stay here, in our camp, as my guest.
No
My
longer...
lady Ivara, I beg of you. This is an Inquisitor. This is a desperate attempt on your life. The only way it can succeed is if you allow it to.
No longer able to remain quiet, the soldier approaches Iovara and puts his hand on her shoulder, turning her aside. His voice is hushed, but by no means private.
This is a missionary, same as I was, taught the wrong things as I was. If I can't have faith in one woman's ability to reason, once she knows the truth, what hope do we have?
My lady...
She admits being a spy.
That should make her less of a threat, wouldn't you agree? I have nothing to hide. All I see here is an opportunity to persuade someone who could help us. We have many former missionaries here. They are our most loyal, our most helpful. Many have died for us. These are not people we should be turning away. And if the Inquisition wants my life, they can have it. But they know as well as I do that my cause will not die with me. Come. We have much to talk about.
Uh-huh. So we've slowly been learning more and more about our past life and what was going on with it. Still don't quite know enough, but we are learning. Before we move on, I'm curious. Alof, do you have anything to say? No.
I'm ready.
What about you, Pallegina?
Need something?
No. And I doubt the other two have anything to say. Very well. Let's make our way towards Burial Isle. Head on in here. And we can jump right to Burial Isle. Alright, we're here. Oh, and another one.
Do you remember when we were children, and the missionaries came to tell us about the gods? They told us we could see them in the stars. And we snuck out one night and climbed the watchtower in the old fort because we thought we could see them better from up there. That fort burned down a few years ago when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. They didn't want us to be able to use it. Shame. There was history in that fort.
I miss those days. It was an exciting time. Everything full of promise. This is your home as much as it is mine. Do you worry about it? I worry about you. You should be more worried about yourself. Half the guards still plot your death at night. I miscalculated...
many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. It's a good thing we didn't hang you. I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on my behalf. I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand a siege. If war is coming, I should be doing what Theos is doing. I will need allies. Allies in a stronghold that can resist an invading army.
You can feel words formed long ago rising in your throat like a toxic black bile. Have you thought about Oceanus?
Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders, and their king has no love of the Inquisition's faith. I wonder, would he listen?
This would do more if I could actually remember things. Oh. I think there are spirits who are coming to join and assist me now. I'm looting them, not that it really matters, because I think we're almost done. Those must be the spirits. Oh!
Another turn, Inquisitor.
Theos signals some unseen attendant standing beside a large crank.
I ask again, Jovara Ixensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused?
He waits, but Iovara only stares straight ahead, her face stony, the creak of her restraints the only sound.
Do you confess to apostasy?
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
She opens her mouth to speak, strands of thin spittle spanning from one lip to the other like a spider's threads.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the penitents.
Only my truth, then.
Iovara seems to look directly at you.
Another turn.
No! Wait! Wait! I'm ready. I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Theos shakes his head and points at the Inquisitor, and the scraping grind of rusted gears echoes in your mind as the apparitions fade away.
No time to lose nerve now, Watcher. What's one more trial for a soul on the brink of doom?
Every wrinkle and boil carved into Wodika's statue looks painfully familiar. So, all that's left now is to jump down into the pit. Alright, well, we're gonna do that in the next episode, because this seems like the point to pause. Next episode, we jump into the pit so that we can find our way to Theos and deal with him. That'll be in the next episode. So until then, I am Chester44, also known as Falai. That is Laniara, Palagina, Kana, Durance, Aloth, and Sagani. This has been a Let's Play of Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time.